about commercial interest a lot. In fact, that's what we specialize in. But in order for that to be meaningful, we need to take the brilliant ideas that come from the different universities and different departments and schools at NYU, work with them in order to make this marriage happen and be successful. So we will be recommitting ourselves to even further deepen the collaboration between Stern here and the rest of the campus. The third thing is really to listen to the data. In many ways, unless we look at the data, we don't know what amazing things we are doing. And what we are starting to do is build a database of entrepreneurs. One of the key challenges with entrepreneurship is most of the NYU-based entrepreneurs become entrepreneurs several years after graduation. So it really becomes hard to kind of track the data. And we are trying to put together a process where we go back and look at them, build the data, and see what we are doing. And we started looking at the data starting from the last year. And what we found was this. In 2018, 204 NYU alum collectively raised about $4 billion in venture funding. That's a very large number. That amounts to about $90 million per venture that was raising funding. That's, again, a very large number. And to add to what President Hamilton already suggested, we not only have an amazing number of female entrepreneurs here, but also some of our absolute stars are female entrepreneurs. So 3 of our female-led startups collectively raised $175 million last year in venture funding. We also looked at where we are raising venture funding. And this may not be that surprising given what we are known in the city for. We are known for a lot of things. One of that, thankfully, is also food. So 30% of the venture capital our NYU alum raise tend to be in startups associated with food-related technologies and some of these other areas as well. So what we are going to do then is take this as a first step, listen to the data, and think hard about where we can further sort of allocate our resources, strengthen and build our advantage, and become an even greater center for entrepreneurship and innovation and raise NYU as a whole. So I just want to say that in terms of kind of the longer term things that we are working on. And thank you again for your amazing participation here tonight. And welcome you all to this amazing event. Congratulations, and I look forward to a great evening. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Good to see you tonight. A lot of familiar faces. How many of you were with us on day one when we did the kickoff in this room? Well, okay, the teams. Good. So it went fast, though, didn't it? How many of you have been with us since the start of the day and were watching some of the presentations in the individual rooms? Well, Frank, you don't count. Oh, okay. Well, you had to be there. Okay, so you guys are really committed. We want to thank everyone who's here tonight to essentially uplift NYU startups. Entrepreneurship can be very lonely, it's very daunting, and it really does take a village. In fact, it takes a small city, and so it's really important that you're here to support the Final 14 tonight. Just a quick note. For those of you who are engaged in social media, we have a hashtag, what is it? Hashtag 300K challenge, appropriately enough, imagine that. All of our outlets are at NYU Innovation, so you can tell I don't do a whole lot of this, but hopefully you will tonight. I thought it might be helpful to provide a little bit of an overview of how the teams got here tonight, just to set the stage, if you will. So it's been mentioned that in the fall that we kicked off with 243 teams. They were put through all kinds of tests and rigor. Oftentimes in this room, we had boot camps on Sundays. Remember that, guys? Remember the Sunday boot camps? We had clinics. There's coaching and advising. There were 3 different rounds of judging, and essentially they're here. And there were 5 major categories we were looking for. One is with regards to strategic insight. So we wanted to make sure that these teams had developed a strategic insight into the area that they were looking into. 2, Okay, you got us convinced. How about customers? Is anyone going to care that they are going to launch? 3 was product design, and so we did prototyping, and we had other workshops around how do you workshop around your design. We had, advance the slide. Thank you. We were all very tired. Business modeling, and then launching. And that's basically, can they really pull this off? And so that's what the judges were doing today in terms of assessing how well the teams answered all these very important questions. So they had 9 minutes. There were some Q&A. Yeah, to present. Not tonight. No, we wouldn't get out of here if they all had 9 minutes now. And then there was Q&A, and then tonight we thought we would give you an opportunity to meet the final 14. There are 3 different competitions as part of the Entrepreneurs Challenge: New Ventures, Social, and Tech. You have a program with you, so please follow along. There are brief descriptions in there about all of the teams. And so you're going to get a little taste of them because they're going to come up, show their explainer videos, do a little mini presentation, and then you'll have a chance to vote for your favorites as we progress through the night. So sound like a plan? Yeah. All right. So to shepherd us through this process, we have a very special guest here. Well, actually, he's not a guest. He's part of the family. Steve Garrow is graduated in '89. MBA, so he's an alum. Yay. He's an entrepreneur. He's a serial investor. He is one of our entrepreneurs in residence, and he's going to serve as he keeps saying as the Ricky Gervais of today's programs. But then I reminded him, I'm pretty sure Ricky Gervais was not invited back. So we don't want that, but we do want Steve. So help me welcome Steve Garrow to the stage.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Cynthia. You're definitely taking your chances tonight on this one. First of all, welcome everybody, invited guests, judges, all of you in tonight's audience. We're live streaming this, as Cynthia mentioned, so those of you at home or wherever you're watching, welcome. And of course, to our teams who have gone through a long program, and this is the night we've all been waiting for 8 months and longer. So welcome. First, if you don't mind, a quick order of business. I've got a couple of kids at home, and Phoebe, if you could, please.
Oh, this next slide?
Yeah.
On your slide?
My slide. Thank you. It's not for me, it's for, yeah. So first, a little bit of housekeeping for tonight. The way the program will work is teams will come up. They'll take the microphone off of the microphone holder, microphone platform. And they will give a 3-minute pitch, a shortened version of what they did today and have probably given for the last several weeks. Then their explainer video will come up, and then they'll stick around for a really short Q&A right afterwards. The first segment we'll do tonight is the Tech Venture Competition. And this is sponsored by the NYU Innovation Venture Fund. Frank Romalowski and his team run this project. And first, we want to show you a past winner of this particular competition, Ephemeral. Doug, if you would, please.
So we're making tattoo inks that are applied just like conventional inks by tattoo artists, but fade away naturally and on their own. The first inks we're launching last around 4 to 6 months. So we came up with the idea out of the experience of one of my co-founders. And he went out and he actually got a permanent tattoo on his bicep. And he goes home to his family. His family was not happy, but to try and keep peace in the household, he went out and he tried to figure out how to remove it. He went to a great laser surgery clinic. And after that first session, he had permanent scars, he had infections, and it was really painful. So he started thinking about, well, are there any tattoo inks that might not be as permanent? And there wasn't. And when we first started, we spoke to a bunch of people, and we found that around 60% of them who don't have tattoos actually wanted one. And the only thing holding them back was the permanence. And we're building this technology to make that a possibility. So I have to give a lot of credit to the Entrepreneurs Challenge. That was what we entered in back in that summer, and that was how we got our feet off the ground. And that gave us all the support and structure we needed to teach us, what do we even think about on day 0? What do we think about on day 30, 60, 90? How do we even take this idea and build a company around it? And we were grateful enough and lucky enough to win that Entrepreneurs Challenge, which gave us $75,000 to make this company a reality. Since the challenge, we have gotten our own lab space. We did a bunch of research and actually fundamentally shifted the technology a total of 3 times. And at this point, have raised a bit north of $4 million from some incredible investors, and have taken the tech from labs all the way to human testing. NYU has been a tremendous supporter from day 0. Techstars has been invaluable in helping us go from, I guess, the university scale to New York scale. And some of our current investors, Canaan Partners, Primary Venture Partners, and a whole host of other folks have really been instrumental in helping us build our business. I guess right now there's 3 things that I'm really focused on. One is building out our executive team as we get closer to launch. The other one is gathering a bunch of customer input around product development. And last one is building out a network of tattoo artists. That's actually been some good bit of fun. The next 10 years, I would hope every single person in this room is rocking an ephemeral tattoo. But I see ephemeral tattoo shops, I see ephemeral ink and other tattoo shops, and I see a fundamental cultural shift in the world of tattooing where there's this beautiful hybrid between permanent ink and ephemeral ink. I think the word entrepreneur carries this implication of a decision. Like, there was a moment in time that I sat down and I said, I am going to be an entrepreneur. My name is Josh Sakai, and I don't think of myself so much as an entrepreneur, more so as just a guy that's following his dreams and building something he cares about.
So, before I forget, I am live tweeting this. If you got my Twitter handle from a couple of slides before, you can hear my deepest, darkest thoughts of what I think of what we're hearing tonight. First team, Pi Radio, Aditya and Marco.
Thank you, Marco. Is this on? Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm Marco. I'm a co-founder of Pi Radio.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aditya, and I'm the second monkey in this circus.
So at NYU Tandon School of Engineering, we've been pioneering the research on this specific topic called 5G millimeter wave. And that's the reason why we're here today, to share with you our grand vision that we've developed over the last 5 years, which is establishing the de facto technology for wireless communications of 5G and beyond networks that includes drones, robots, cars, and smartphones.
Well, there are only 3 things that we are certain about in life. Number 1, death. Number 2, taxes. And the third thing is the fact that the data requirements demanded by customers is only going to grow. And everybody knows that the number of devices that are connected wirelessly is going to grow. And in addition to that, the data rates demanded by each of these devices is also exponentially going to grow. And as Marco mentioned, when we think about wireless, it's not necessarily Wi-Fi or cellular, but it's everything else that is connected to it. It can be drones, it can be cars, augmented reality, virtual reality. I think the bottom line is that the future is definitely wireless. But then, when we think about wireless systems today, pretty much every single wireless system operates over these low frequencies, and these frequencies are incredibly congested. And simple physics tells us that if we have to provide the wireless data connectivity that the world demands, we have to move away from the frequencies that are currently used today and move to these much higher frequencies known as these millimeter wave frequencies. Now, of course, right? These new frequencies have got tremendous amounts of spectrum, but unfortunately, or rather fortunately for us, the technologies that exist in the market today do not adequately leverage and utilize this tremendous amount of spectrum. And what we have done is we have built technologies that can leverage these new millimeter wave frequencies to provision the data requirements that the world demands from us.
Exactly. So based on that technology, given that it shines particularly in mobile and complex environments, which is where the industry could not reach as of now, we intend to first sell our plug-and-play wireless, millimeter wave wireless dongles into the drones ecosystem, where there's these players that are moving around in these variable and dynamic environments. And then in parallel, we reach out to markets such as connected cars, exchanging data to realize the self-driving paradigm in the robotics for smart factories. And ultimately, we reach into the daddy of all these markets, which is the cellular market. And thank you, everybody, for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video.
Thank you, everybody.
An increasing amount of people and devices is consuming more data than ever before, but it remains crammed on the same bands of the radio frequency spectrum that mobile providers have always used. That means less bandwidth for everyone, causing slower service and more dropped connections. For this reason, the telecommunications industry is tapping into a vast and largely unused portion of the electromagnetic spectrum, the millimeter waves, which use frequencies higher than the radio waves that have long been used for mobile phones. However, using millimeter waves to connect mobile devices such as smartphones, cars, drones, or robots is extremely challenging for two main reasons. Number one, to expand the limited range of a single antenna at millimeter waves, multiple antennas are jointly used to concentrate energy in a specific direction. Challenge number two, at millimeter waves frequencies, the signals can't easily travel through obstacles like buildings, trees, or humans, meaning that the link is susceptible to frequent drops. The industry-accepted millimeter wave technology works well in stationary environments, but it breaks in mobile and dynamic scenarios because the radio allows to send and receive data in only one direction at a time, making it impossible to establish a fast, seamless, and robust connection. So, what's the solution? At Pi Radio, we are building a radio technology that can transmit and receive in multiple directions at the same time, which enables much faster and reliable connectivity. For this reason, our grand vision is to establish the de facto millimeter wave ultra-wideband wireless communications technology for 5G and beyond. Fast and seamless internet access for smartphones, enabling also mobile VR and AR applications, improved safety, and infotainment for autonomous cars and efficient robotic operations.
Guys, thank you. What's the next big developmental challenge you guys have with the product? What's the next hurdle for you to get this to market?
Okay, so thank you for the question. So we just received our first prototype systems about 2 weeks ago, and we're in the process of bringing it up, which we will be able to do in the next couple of weeks. And once we implement the algorithms, then we'll be able to miniaturize everything down to a single ASIC, which is a chip. So then our system will go down from being the size, maybe about 12 inches by 6 inches, down to the size of your fingernail. And once it is miniaturized down to that level, it can go into consumer devices.
Got it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Greg with Mixie. Oh, sorry.
We'll grab one of these. All right. So my name is Gregory Limbersky. I had just defended my PhD in radiology last week, so I work on this full time. And this is Benjamin Addison. He's my talented CTO. He's a great programmer. So let me address the elephant in the room. This guy, money, George Washington, the first president of America, military general, and the face of the $1 bill. We all remember his glorious life, but we tend to forget about his death. 1799, George has a sore throat. So he gets into contact with some of his doctor friends. Say, I want the VIP treatment. I'm feeling not so good. So what do? Well, they give him the VIP treatment. An ordeal of spices, induced vomiting, and letting 40% of his blood. To their surprise, he died later that day. Well, how are we doing in 2019? Well, we've gotten a little better for sure. We have now wonderful technologies like the MRI and medical imaging, which could diagnose internal diseases non-invasively. But we still have some ways to go. We can go to higher resolutions and have more precise metrics. And the way to do this would be to increase the signal-to-noise ratio on MRI systems. So the industry knows about this. And the way to do it is to sell you a better, more expensive MRI scanner. A 1.5 Tesla magnet is $1.5 million. 3 Tesla, $3 million. 7 Tesla, 7. Yeah. So, this is kind of expensive. For the price of an individual 7 Tesla magnet, the hospital could purchase 2 3 Teslas or 4 1.5 Teslas. But they generate far more revenue with the 1.5 Tesla option because insurance doesn't bill you for the field strength. So pretty much no financial incentive on getting a better diagnosis. So why would you ever go to 7 Tesla? Well, peace of mind. At 7 Tesla, radiologists make fewer mistakes. Take the pathology of temporal lobe epilepsy. Through inter-rater studies, they find that radiologists are in agreement 92% of the time at 7 Tesla. But when you go down to 3 Tesla, the agreement drops to 57%. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Actually, 90% of the scanners in the United States are of the cheaper, low-end 1.5 Tesla variety. You wish you got 57% agreement. So that's what MIXI is all about. We offer a technology, software as a service company, to bring up the quality on low-end systems, effectively bringing high-end quality to low-field scanners. And beyond that, well, I guess you'd have to watch some of our video. So thank you very much.
My name is Gregory Limbersky, and I'm the founder and CEO of MIXI. MRI isn't perfect. If you want better images acquired more rapidly, you will need to increase the signal-to-noise ratio. The industry tries to increase the signal with better hardware. But hardware doesn't only increase the signal, it also increases the price. Simply doubling the signal of a 1.5 Tesla magnet would cost $1.5 million. And these figures quickly spiral out of control for higher-end systems. In spite of the greater diagnostic capabilities of higher-end scanners, 90% of the scanners in the United States are actually of the cheaper, low-end variety. This implies that increasing the signal through better hardware is far too expensive for the vast majority of hospitals. So MIXI takes a more cost-effective approach and decreases the noise through mathematical modeling to bring high-end quality to low-end scanners. Here's an example of what an additional $1.5 million of hardware can buy you. After we denoise, the gap in image quality completely disappears, meaning that we can easily bridge $1.5 million of hardware with the price of software, thereby unlocking a wealth of MRI capabilities. MIXI is a business-to-business company that will offer denoising and other advanced image processing to radiologists through a cloud-based system.
Very nice. Greg and Ben, quick question. Medical equipment can be difficult to get accepted sometimes when you're selling to hospitals and providers. What feedback have you gotten from the hospitals or radiologists so far on this stuff?
So on the topic of feedback, in fact, maybe we've done a little bit too much research in this community. So our software has been floating around for quite some time, about 2 to 3 years. And we have close to 120 publications across 20 different countries. So it's been taken out of our hands. The clinicians want to use it. But first you need to get FDA approval. And for this application, given the amount of research we've done, 2 to 6 months, it should be on the market.
Got it. Thank you.
We've
Sorry.
heard, oh, sorry, I was just going to add on, but we've gotten explicit interest from a number of different hospitals and radiology departments that as soon as our software is clinically available, they'd like to have it implemented and ready to go.
That's great. Great feedback. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
A quick reminder to the teams, we've got the clock up front to keep track of your 3 minutes. Sorry, it's over here. It's right there. Be aware of that. Our next team is React Power. Ria?
Good afternoon. My name is Ria, and I'm the VP of Tech Development at React Power. There are 6 trillion barrels of heavy oil in underground reservoirs around the world, and less than 1% of it has ever been extracted. Heavy oil is a type of viscous crude oil whose thickness makes it difficult to extract. But when refined, it can be used in a variety of industries. In fact, if we could recover another 1% of the total heavy oil resource available to us, we could supply US transportation needs for the next 40 years without ever having to drill a single new site. Now, people are so enticed by the opportunity around heavy oil that I kid you not, they are literally setting the ground on fire to extract it. In a method known as fire flooding, they set fires in a reservoir to make oil more easily extractable. But as you can imagine, that's incredibly dangerous to the workers, the well infrastructure, and the surrounding environment. The more common method for heavy oil recovery is known as steam injection, in which steam is injected from the surface to the underground, and that steam makes the oil more fluid. But it has its own problems. In addition to high capital costs, steam injection is incredibly energy inefficient. For every 3 barrels of oil extracted, 1 of them is actually consumed, and more than 50% of the energy from that barrel is wastefully lost. So how can we address the shortcomings that currently exist in the heavy oil infrastructure? Well, what if I told you? If we could inject a material underground that produces the heat used in steam injection directly on the oil. Well, at React Power, we're commercializing a new class of nanomaterials known as Thermomix, which can do exactly that. We imagine the process in 3 simple steps: inject, react, extract. By injecting Thermomix in a heavy oil reservoir, it will react with underground water, making the oil more fluid and allowing us to extract it more easily. By cutting capital costs and energy loss, we can improve the profit for a typical oil well in Canada by up to 30%. But what's more is that Thermomix is based on mineral chemistry, leaving only a naturally occurring mineral byproduct behind. By commercializing Thermomix, React Power is providing high-efficiency oil extraction using natural chemistry. Thank you.
The current infrastructure surrounding heavy oil recovery is dangerous, inefficient, and costly. But what if we could supplement energy losses and operational costs for these methods? We at React Power are commercializing a new class of nanomaterials called Thermomix and have been optimizing its performance for heavy oil recovery applications here at NYU. When Thermomix reacts with water, it produces large amounts of hydrogen gas and heat, which can be used to lessen the viscosity of oil. This allows us to extract oil more efficiently. Our technology hinges on 3 value propositions. We offer cost-effective oil recovery by enabling a 50% increase in oil yield. Our technology is highly integratable into current infrastructure, minimizing capital cost. And most importantly, Thermomix relies on mineral-based chemistry, leaving no harmful byproducts behind. We have put together a highly qualified team with extensive technical, entrepreneurial, and business expertise. Thomas, our team leader, has successful experience co-founding a material-based startup. Our R&D is currently supported by highly motivated graduate and undergraduate researchers, Ria, Daniel, and Brian. And business development is headed by Sarah, who has business strategy experience in the energy sector. We are advised by Dr. Miguel Modestino, an assistant professor at NYU. Together, we are React Power, providing efficient oil extraction technology using natural and sustainable chemistry.
Rita, thank you. Pretty cool stuff.
Thank you.
Did your team today get any kind of feedback from the judges that you found helpful in terms of your path forward?
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of, we understand this is a difficult market it's pursuing. We got a lot of feedback in terms of our business strategies. I mean, our market entry strategy, which was incredibly helpful for us.
Great. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Blue Instrument, Yi. There you are. There you go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yi Yang. I'm the co-founder of Blue Instrument. I'm also the PhD candidate at NYU Tandon. We want to provide an IP-protected, real-time structural health monitoring system for wind turbine blade to help blade manufacturers and wind farm operators to maximize the profit, reduce accidents, and lower the maintenance cost. Wind energy is growing rapidly these years, and the installation of the wind turbine is also booming. However, at the same time, issues are rapidly emerging in wind farms. A lot of accidents have been reported, and many countries have started tracking and documenting such accidents. For example, last year, over 7,700 wind turbine accidents have been reported in the world. And based on the data from the insurance company, the blade failure is the primary cause of the wind turbine accidents. They account for over 40% of claims. Because the blade is the most exposed component that is exposed to all the weather conditions. Without proper maintenance, people risk catastrophic failure. Such failure will lead to not only the replacement of the wind turbine blade, but also due to the consequential damage to tower and human. And to address this problem, we want to provide a novel fiber optic sensing system, including hardware, software plugin to blade manufacturers and wind farm operators. And our sensor is called fiber optic loop sensor. It's only 6 millimeter in diameter and only a 1/4 millimeter thick, which is very easy to be embedded or retrofitted on the existing wind turbine blade, and is able to detect the vibration signature of the wind turbine blade. And the vibration signature for rotating or vibrating machine are really consistent. And a shift in the vibration signature indicates the potential failure would be happened. And we have 2 issued patents for our sensing system. And our total available market is going to be $27.4 billion, and our served available market is going to be $2.7 billion. And the target market is going to be $459 million. And thank you, guys, and we are Blue Instrument.
Wind energy is growing rapidly these years. Close to 500,000 wind turbines have been installed all over the world. However, at the same time, issues in wind farms are rapidly emerging. Over 40% of the wind turbine accidents are caused by blade failure. Without proper maintenance, the accidents cost millions of dollars to wind farm owners. Not only the replacement of the blade, but also due to the consequential damage to the tower and human. To address this problem, we invented a fiber optic loop sensor to detect cracks and abnormalities in wind turbine blade. Our fiber optic loop sensor is able to detect the vibration signature of the wind turbine blade. So normally the vibration signature of a rotating or vibrating machine are consistent. A shift in vibration signature will indicate a potential failure. Due to its small size, low cost, and high sensitivity, on wind farm with 100 turbines, we can save at least $12 million compared to the other inspection methods. We want to provide an IP-protected structural health monitoring system for wind turbine blade to help manufacturers and wind farm operators to maximize the profit, reduce accidents, and lower the maintenance cost. We are Blue Instrument.
Gee, thank you. So this is a big problem, obviously. Now, you guys can detect these vibrational issues. Does it communicate right to the operator and they can shut down a system, or how does that work?
Yes, yes. So we detect the early crack for the wind turbine blade. So if the crack is go out of the range, so the maintenance people have to go and repair it before the catastrophic failure happened.
So they see that right away, right away. And what's the first market you enter? Is it the U.S. market you'll enter first?
Yes, yes. The U.S. market, the wind farm operators is our target market, target customer.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Flare agent, Rashid Abi.
All right, so hey everyone, my name is Abi, this is Rashid, and we're from Flare Agent. Now, before I vomit sentences at you, I just want to take a quick pause. I know we're here from like work, school, we are all busy in New York City, we forget to breathe sometimes, so I just want to invite everyone to take a deep breath for 5 seconds. Join me. So, all right, great. So now, time to vomit sentences. So I have a story for you, a story that begins about 2 years ago. I woke up in the middle of the night freaking out about how I didn't know how to buy a home. What on earth is a 21-year-old doing thinking about real estate, right? Well, the thing is, I grew up with a family that told me that the most important financial decision someone can make for themselves is a home. Now, this wouldn't be a problem if I were back in India, and I'm sure my family would take care of me there. But I've moved to America since, and I see myself living here for a considerable amount of time. You see the problem. First thing I did in the middle of the night at 4 a.m. was reach for my phone, text Rashid, who I just had met recently at that point, and I was like, you worked at a real estate company a couple of years, right? You must know something. Weird enough, he was awake that night, and he was like, yeah, let's talk in the morning. So the next morning, we met out. We decided that we'll reach out to a contact that he had in Texas, a real estate agency. We listened to their problems, built a small MVP for them, and over the past year and a half, we've been able to close 2,500 real homes for them, which are worth about $500 million worth of property. Now, we realize that there's definitely value in this, and so we've been doing our research to expand the product and our market. Right after this, we're going to show you a video where we're definitely talking way too fast, definitely way too excited, but we think it's cute, and we hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
My name is Rashid, this is Abi, we're the co-founders of Flare Agent.
And with Flare Agent, we're trying to simplify real estate transactions. So assuming that I'm an agent, I can create a transaction on Flare Agent and I can invite my client.
As the buyer or seller, I can communicate directly with my agent. I can also schedule appointments and schedule phone calls. I can see a list of all the documents that I need to review and sign, and view all the progress from directly within the app.
So now that I have all the documents in place, I can push it up to my head broker for quick approval. I can also invite third parties such as insurance companies, title companies, and lawyers who can all view the transaction, and so it'll be really quick and really cheap. The best part of Flare Agent is that it's really easy to stay organized with multiple transactions. You will know exactly where you stand on each transaction, and you'll be able to go into each of them for details. In a transaction, you can assign different parties to different steps so everyone can stay updated and know exactly what they need to do to progress the transaction. This speeds up and facilitates the entire process. We're also working on bringing together chat and documents to the transaction that will save you tons of time. We're trying to bring down transaction time from 60 days to just 48 hours, and also the costs from 10% to just 3%.
We're hoping to use technology to revamp this old industry and create the awesomest experience for real estate.
And this is the last time I'm going to record this. Hell yeah!
Thank you, guys. That was great. Now, I listen to podcasts a lot when I'm driving. I don't have time, but you were definitely on 1.5 or 2 times speed. I think. You were between 1.5 and 2, I'm pretty sure. Who's the customer for this? Is it attorneys, real estate agent? Who is the main customer here?
The customers are real estate brokerages, usually teams that are like small to mid-sized and are really looking to grow really fast.
Does it matter if does my attorney have to be on this too? Does that help?
They don't have to be on this now.
Doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it's for the agent primarily.
Got it. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
So it's time for the first voting session. So we're going to have about 3 minutes. Follow the instructions. Place your vote for your favorite team that you just saw. If you need a recap, well, refer to your book. About 3 minutes or so. So those of you at home, please vote. We'll tabulate it very soon. We'll be announcing it after we're done.
Sam's gonna have to help me position his name.
Okay.
As he's doing
just say that, like when I say one last congratulations to the winners part, and then, yep. So at the very end, I'm going to say, I get a cue from you. When we're positioning all the things. Okay. When we're positioning them, I have a photo of them at Got it, okay. As long as I got to keep my mic on, because they got to turn me back on in time, because I'm going to be off probably for a bit. Okay. Okay, so I'll say at that time before, so I'll say it right about here, before you give me a cue. I'll give it before. While we're positioning everybody. One last. While we're positioning, because I think that's the key for the planning. He's going to say key safety. Oh, key safety. Okay. I'll go on 1.5 speed if you want. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You're good? Okay. The answers are quick, so there's, okay. You good? Yeah. Okay. Wrapping up the voting in 10 seconds. We're about done. Sorry. Too late. You are done. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now ready to move on to the social venture competition. First of all, thank you, judges. Thank you to the teams who have participated here. This year's social venture competition is dedicated to the memory of Jason Spindler, who was a finalist in the 2008-2009 competition. And Doug, can we play that IDEV video that he was part of, please?
My name is Patricia Chin Sweeney. I went to Stern and graduated in 2010. I am director and co-founder of IDEV International. We are a global strategy and investment advisory firm focused on scaling businesses in emerging markets. So that means we advise companies on innovation and strategy, and then also connect them with the capital that they need to grow. I started IDEV because I've always been interested in environmental and social impact. I'd worked on the nonprofit side and thought that business ultimately is the solution. In many contexts, people can't worry about environmental or social impact until they've addressed other needs. And so now IDEV is very much focused on taking the best from business, but applying it to maximizing social and environmental returns as well. IDEV has grown a lot over the last 6 years since going through the Stern Social Venture Competition. We now have 3 global offices. We're headquartered in San Francisco to be close to Silicon Valley, and then we have regional headquarters in Lima, Peru, that covers Latin America, and an office in Nairobi. So we've worked with a range of customers. That includes multinational corporations that have operations in emerging markets, but then ultimately what we do is we work with SMEs in emerging markets to help them scale, help them produce quality, and again, get the resources they need to get to the next level of professionalism. One company we worked with recently is called Twiga Foods. Twiga Foods is a Kenya-based company that has developed an app. In countries like Kenya, most commerce is done through informal kiosks. This app allows kiosk owners to order bananas and other products each week for their store. And when they do that, they also are paying through mobile money, and they're creating a credit history because they may not have a credit history otherwise. The network that Stern offered was incredible. I've met Sternies around the world, many that I went to school with, who are in the same field as me. They've referred a lot of business to us, and we've made connections through that. A Stern alum runs Citi's trade finance for Sub-Saharan Africa, and we've talked to him on how we can collaborate and bring more foreign investment into sub-Saharan Africa. I'm an entrepreneur because I saw an incredible opportunity that needed to be pursued and wasn't being addressed by the market.
Thoughts go out to Jason, his team, and his family. IDEV is still working at this. They're still active and doing some great work. So for our social venture teams, first up, C-Straws, Antonio, Sophie.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Antonio.
I'm Sophie.
And I'd just like to start off with a very simple question. So how many of you have already used a disposable product today? Coffee cups, cutlery, anything like that, almost all of you. This problem is everywhere. And today we're going to tell you how our company C-Straws is transforming hospitality through sustainable alternatives.
There's so much plastic waste in our oceans that scientists estimate there will be more plastics than fish in the sea by 2050. That's unbelievable. And in fact, these plastics break down. They're not just affecting megafauna like the poor turtle that had a straw in its nose. They're affecting you right here. They break down into microplastic fibers that can enter your beer, your tap water, table salt, and even your seafood, often carrying harmful chemicals along with them. And this is exactly why the tide is shifting away from plastic. Major corporations and cities and states and countries like the EU have already committed to banning and reducing their plastic waste, starting with banning plastic straws. And C-Straws here has the solution. Our straws are 100% backyard compostable. That means you can go toss them in the Hudson River and they'll biodegrade within 60 days, no turtles harmed in the process. We're also a B Corp certified pending startup, which means our commitment to sustainability is unparalleled in this industry. All of our products are made with SFI certified paper and FSC as well, all made right here in the United States. We're working with policymakers to help drive this movement. Already have passed legislation in West Palm Beach, Florida, and working with the county of Westchester, right, in Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Sophie. So if we've looked at how we've aimed to scale this company, it's through partnerships with nonprofits. So our two core partners, one of them is a Surfrider Foundation, of which we have a contract with them that actually markets us to a network of over 500 plus ocean-friendly restaurants nationwide. And also we've worked with Oceanic Global, which has brought us to some local New York City restaurant chains, such as the Butter Group and Tao Group. Now, what these organic connections have brought us in the bottom-up part of our brand and over a network of over 100 brand ambassadors around the country has brought us to a point where our first $75K in sales were actually all through organic growth. People coming to us directly. We've had large chains, such as Sweet Green, even knock on our door.
Not to mention, we're used in all of NYU's dining halls. It's very fun for us. But C-Straws has actually sold over 3.7 million paper straws. That means we've replaced 3,433 pounds of plastic waste, completely prevented it. And we've even changed the behavior of our customers. 90% of the customers at our trade shows, actually we've inspired to move from using plastic straws to paper. So we look forward to you guys joining us, even using our products, as we continue to transform hospitality through sustainable alternatives. Thank you so much.
People, corporations, and governments have begun to rally around an issue, one that is important enough to cross political, socioeconomic, and geographical boundaries. Today, this issue is washing up on our shores. 267 marine species are currently affected by the more than 5 trillion pieces of plastic already floating in our oceans. And straws have become the tip of the spear in this plastic war, with companies such as Starbucks, Marriott, and Disney World already pledging to ban plastic straws. They are set to become a relic of the past. However, one question remains. What are our alternatives? I started C-Straws with the goal of developing a simple product, a sustainable straw, that can drive a movement to save the seas. By developing made-in-the-USA biodegradable paper straws, reusable steel straws, and accessible silicone straws, we are the alternative. Imagine a world where these do not exist. Oh look, another one.
Approximately 15 million plastic straws are used each day in New York City, and you can help see straws change that by using our incredible alternative options. If New York City can take the lead on this issue, more cities will follow. Seattle has done it, and we can do it here too. We are all stakeholders in the future of our planet, including you, large corporations, cities, and even countries. Together, we are the current that will drive this movement. Let's start now, one straw at a time.
From sea to shining sea, join us in our movement to make this the last straw.
Thanks, guys. Great video. Can people tell the difference between the plastic and the paper when they use it?
I mean, absolutely, you can tell the difference.
Yeah, it feels different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But ours are really sturdy.
They're sturdy.
Yeah.
What's the cost difference for restaurants? Is it more expensive and a lot more expensive, or what's the difference?
Yeah, it's about double the price, and that's why we love that 90% statistic, because we're actually able to tell people through C, sustainability, education, and advocacy, that our product is worth that double the investment, and that's been excellent for us.
We also advocate that restaurants can even, use straws upon request. That actually will reduce their straw consumption by about 40%. Better for the environment, better for their bank.
So the awareness ultimately can drop their cost for this stuff anyways.
Absolutely.
The awareness
Yep.
with the customers. And great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please welcome Dotted Square, Francois and Justin.
So every 3 seconds, a child in Africa dies completely unnecessarily. Malnutrition caused by a lack of access to food and necessities is at the root cause of this problem. What if for the groceries you buy, up to 20% was lost due to waste or even was stolen? This is the problem facing migrant workers sending money back to their families in Africa. Today, over 36 million migrant workers send over $50 billion annually back home to their families in Africa, more than all charitable donations and foreign aid combined. The methods for doing this, such as Western Union, are extremely expensive, costing up to 20%. It's also inconvenient and dangerous. For 70% of the population living in rural areas, a Western Union or post office is a treacherous journey away where literal highway robbery happens. So what is Dotted Square? Powered by leading European and African telecom operator Orange, the size of a Verizon or AT&T, Dotted Square is a global digital marketplace connecting migrant workers to rural merchants so they can send necessities home to their families in Africa. And unlike sending money abroad with Western Union, we're accounting and solving for the last mile where these traditional remittance and mobile money solutions have failed. And by cutting out the money supply chain, we're reducing costs by up to 50%.
We ran a year-long pilot during which we recruited 1,000 migrant workers representing $2.5 million in remittance. 30 tons of food was purchased. It was eye-opening. We learned that we could displace the competition and turn customers into advocates. We secured amazing partnerships with Orange, the leading telecom and mobile money provider, Jumia, the Amazon of Africa, which gives us access to 50,000 merchants on day one, and the African Development Bank, which will enable us to scale up immensely our impact. None of this would be possible without the right team. The core team combines 80 years of leadership experience. Justin, our Chief Strategy Officer, founded the Committee for Refugee Relief along with ex-World Bank leaders. I am Francois, founder and CEO of Dotted Square. I'm an MIT alum with leadership experience at Microsoft. I have generated billions of dollars in growth. Our Africa team brings along a massive network that will help us scale up quickly. We are Dotted Square. We put our necessities in Africa. Let's do it together. Thank you.
What if out of every dollar you spent for groceries, over 20 cents were consistently stolen or wasted in fees? That's essentially what happens to migrant workers providing for their families back home. Powered by leading telecom operator Orange, Dotted Square is a global digital marketplace connecting migrant workers with rural merchants so they can purchase the necessities for their families back home. It's different from sending money abroad using Western Union because we focus on the last mile, where traditional cash remittance and mobile money have failed. Here's how it works. Fatou lives in Paris. Her mother lives in a village in Senegal. Each month, Fatou saves $200 for her mother. Using the Dotted Square marketplace, Fatou selects a village, adds her mother as beneficiary, and adds merchandise to her cart. Once she completes the transaction, her mother receives a text with a code she can show the merchant to receive the goods. Fatou has the peace of mind that her mother safely received the necessities for the month. There are 20 million Fatous in the world. They send home $30 billion a year. With Dotted Square, up to $3 billion otherwise wasted or stolen goes back to the families in Africa. Dotted Square, enabling payments without borders.
Francois and Justin, thank you very much. How do you deal with the currency conversion? Does that happen before it gets to your platform?
Actually, we have a partner that help us deal with the currency conversion as it lands in Africa. So everything is in euro, then goes to Africa, and we have a partner to transfer it.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Quick reversal. Asher.
Hi guys, my name is Asher. I'm the co-founder of Quick Reversal and also an employee at NYU Langone as a research associate. So a quick question for you guys. How many of you have heard of the opioid epidemic? Raise your hand. Basically everybody in the room. All right, second question. How many of you know how to treat an opioid overdose? Okay, we have a couple, that's good, but not as many as the first question. So I'll share a little secret with you. In 2018, 70,000 people died from opioid overdose. And that has cost the US $540 billion annually. But here's the most shocking part. The majority of those who have overdosed are people in opioid treatment centers wanting to get better. The problem is that withdrawal is so painful that they end up relapsing back to opiates, which in turn causes an overdose. As a matter of fact, that is so significant that it is estimated that 5 to 6 times a patient will overdose or relapse before maintaining sobriety. But it only takes one time to overdose. Now, the good news is that there is a drug that can fix all of this. And administered in the appropriate amount of time can actually save lives. But here's the problem. Since 2012, drug manufacturers have upped the cost of this drug 500%, and you need someone to identify somebody who's overdosed and have the drug on them to revive the victim. So, you know, that's all good and well, but if you call 911, it takes about 7 minutes for them to arrive with the drug. Brain damage can happen in less than 4. So what if we took that 7 minutes and brought it down to 0? Quick Reversal is a medicine patch that can automatically sense opioid overdose at the time of an event and automatically give the appropriate drug if necessary. This allows patients to remain in long-term treatment centers where they can go back to achieve sobriety over the long term while maintaining a safety net for themselves. I want to tell you one last thing, which is this. As an EMT, as a volunteer EMT, the amount of times that I've seen naloxone used is far too many, and there are far too few who have access to it. For the small cost of $20, we can provide access to patients around the world to have access to both safe and critical treatment when needed. Thank you.
How long can you hold your breath? 1 minute? Maybe 2? If you're overdosing on opioids, you won't be able to breathe. And after 5 minutes of not breathing, brain damage can occur. But an ambulance takes an average of 7 minutes to respond. The good news is the antidote to opioid overdose, naloxone, exists. If someone doesn't recognize you need help in time, chances are slim. So it's no wonder that in 2017, over 70,000 people died of opioid overdose, the majority of whom were already in treatment and working towards recovery. But what if we could reduce that 7 minutes down to 0? Quick Reversal is a medicine patch. When applied directly to the nose before opioid use, it automatically detects overdose and releases naloxone when needed. Simply prime before use, place it, and take it out when finished. Even though less than 16% of individuals receive treatment, the opioid epidemic still costs the US $520 billion annually. Our plan is simple: provide a safety net for those in treatment. This will give patients the ability to remain in the long-term care that's necessary to overcome opioid addiction without the constant threat of overdose. For $20 a patch, we use a value-based care system in which public health agencies and insurance providers purchase our product in bulk and then deliver it to their patients directly. Because when patients get better, treatment costs for providers go down and everyone wins. We are Quick Reversal, and we believe everyone deserves a second chance at life. Don't you?
Asher, thank you. Another massive, big problem. I mean, what's the approach into the marketplace with the product?
Yeah, definitely. So right now, there are no devices that can administer this drug automatically. And so the idea is to utilize public health agencies and insurance companies, which are the biggest purchasers of naloxone products, to then disseminate them through their normal distributions of supply to the treatment centers that need them. And because we are both a manufacturer for the drugs and a bulk distributor, we can cut out the middlemen of normal pharmacological negotiations, which drops our price significantly.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Soko, Goni, and Yonatan.
Good evening. My name is Goni, and this is my partner, Yonatan. And we are here to talk about Soko, Seeds of Collaboration. We have extensive experience in consumer packaged goods and in building and scaling startups. I spent 6 years at Procter & Gamble, and Yonatan was a founding team member for 3 startups. We grew up in the Middle East, which means quite a few things for us. Today, we'll talk about 2 of them. The first one is the Israeli-Arab conflict, which has been a sad part of our reality. There's not a lot of dialogue, not to mention collaboration between Israelis and Palestinians. We believe in a sustainable economic collaboration between Israelis and Palestinians as a powerful tool for aligning interests on both sides. We want to focus the conversation on growth rather than war. We want to shift the mindsets of people on both sides to create the infrastructure for peace. That's our core mission at Soko, Seeds of Collaboration.
The second thing about growing up in the Middle East is food, which is a completely different story. Food in the Middle East is delicious, it's healthy, and it's mostly plant-based. And when we grew up, we ate almost every day the queen of the Middle Eastern cuisine, tahini. Tahini, I don't know how many of you know it. Tahini? All right, the revolution's coming. So, tahini is made out of nothing but sesame, and it is an incredibly versatile and delicious superfood. Tahini, we're bringing tahini to the smooth, nutty, flavorful tahini to the American consumers for the first time. Our mission is twofold. We want to make people eat healthier, delicious, plant-based food, and at the same time create more collaboration, economic collaboration in the Middle East. We're a partnership between Israelis and Palestinians, joined together by this mutual love of tahini and a desire to create more of this collaboration as an infrastructure for peace.
Everybody's hooked on something.
Sometimes you can tell, but sometimes you can't. Take us, for example, two seemingly normal people with uncontrolled passion for tahini, the Mediterranean delicious superfood. What's so special about tahini? Well, simply put, it makes everything delicious. Spread it on bread, dress your salad with it, use it as a sauce, make hummus with it, add it to your smoothie, put it on top of your ice cream. It's delicious.
Tahini is super quick to make. You can use it completely raw, as is, or mix it with water, lemon, and other spices. And it is so good for you. One portion of tahini contains 20% of the recommended daily protein consumption and 10% of the iron you need. It's low on carbs and saturated fat and has 0 sugars. All this magic with only one natural ingredient, sesame, and nothing else. A true superfood.
We moved to the US, a beautiful, grand, yet tahini-less country. I mean, there is some stuff out there that is called tahini, but it's like calling this pizza.
Go on. Anybody who tried real tahini is dying to get it here. And millions haven't even experienced the magic. This tahini is made by a Palestinian family that have been producing stone-ground, authentic tahini for 5 generations. We saw an incredible opportunity for Israelis and Palestinians to collaborate around a common passion. And with this vision, we started Soko, Seeds of Collaboration.
We believe that economic collaboration creates bridges between communities, and to help seed more bridges with every tahini jar you buy, we donate to Meet, the Middle East entrepreneurs of tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Any good advice from the judges today? Anything that stuck with you?
Yeah, absolutely. We, in fact, one of the tips was how to create more viral growth on our Instagram channel. Our whole brand is around collaboration between Israelis and Palestinians and donating for more programs that bring together young Israelis and Palestinians to collaborate in creating more such ventures. Tahini itself is a food that is shared, brings people together. And one of the great practical advice that we got was to create a campaign around sharing tahini with people that you don't know and sharing that story online. And these kind of viral hacks and practical advice is what makes this program great. So we were really happy to get it.
Terrific. Thank you very much. That's it for the social portion. So vote. Vote strongly. Vote passionately. But 2 minutes. 2 minutes for voting. 2 minutes. amateur competition. Getting closer to that moment of the big announcements coming up soon. The tension now, you can feel it all over here. You can feel it palpably. So we're going to do something a bit different as opposed to how we've kind of showed you some video clips of some old competitive teams that have competed in the program. Instead, we're going to introduce to you the global head of vertical strategy and marketing at Pinterest, Vikram Bhaskaran.
Awesome. Just stand right. Oh, I'm already mic'd. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. This is a flashback to now a decade ago where I was here, just like many of you. Quick little story. So I graduated from NYU in 2009. It was right in the heart of the financial crisis. I had a lot of time on my hands because nobody would hire me. And you know, when you have 2 years and lots of time and lots of angst, you're like, let's start a company, let's build a business. And we entered into the NYU Stern Business Plan competition with an app called Tote. We didn't come first, we came second. Butterbeans came first. They had this amazing service that helped children and nutrition, and there's no way we could compete with that. But we had this very simple insight that at the time, you know, we looked at product catalogs and we said the product catalog industry, 40 billion plus in marketing spend, really wasted channel in some sense. And you kind of come home, you open product catalogs, they fall, you trash them. And right around 2009, we saw this smartphone, so the ascent of the smartphone, and we said, what would it be like if we took catalogs and put it on a smartphone? And so that was the idea. We stood just like here. We stood in front of a group. Cynthia Franklin and Brian Cohen, our first investor, is actually in the audience here. And we pitched Tote. And I think what was really interesting is we came second for the competition, but Tote really didn't go anywhere. But what was really interesting is that we looked at the app, and I kind of convinced all my NYU friends at the time to use the service. So we had our early user base that were the NYU. There's Brian, first Pinterest investor, and so take him seriously. But we took that insight around people saving on the app. We had a bunch of features, and we noticed that the thing that people loved was saving stuff to boards on the catalog app. And Ben, our CEO, basically went back to the drawing board and said, hey, how cool would it be if I built a save feature for the web? And that was the birth of Pinterest. I had a little bit of a funny journey. Actually, Tote, you know, people didn't use it. I left the company, and then 6 years later, 6 years ago, came back as their first business hire. So I've been at the company for 6 years, and it's been a tremendous journey, you know, working at Pinterest. Millions of people use the service today, and our mission is much bigger than where we started. It's to help give people the inspiration to create the life they love. People come to Pinterest to feel inspired. And I want to say a few things. One, I would say, like, take this community really seriously. Our first investors, Brian Cohen, Firstmark Capital, came out of the NYU Stern competition. I would say think very big. Like, there would be no way in a million years I would imagine coming here and standing in front of you with that app that was Tote that then became Pinterest. I would say the community of people in the room actually will be your early users. And if no one loves you, your Stern colleagues and friends will. And so get them to test whatever you're doing and give you really hard feedback. And I would say, lastly, you know, be deeply suspicious of the conventional wisdom. You know, at any given time, there's some, you know, when we launched Pinterest, it was like, oh, don't be visual. Text is really interesting. Like the hot app was Twitter. You need to have an early adopter base in New York or San Francisco. We went Midwest. You need to have an engineering founder. We actually didn't have an engineering founder. And you know, there were so many other sort of paradigms at the time, and most VCs, except for few, said, hey, Pinterest doesn't fit anything. It doesn't fit with our criteria. And so I'm sure today when you're pitching folks, whatever you're building is big and beautiful and probably doesn't fit anyone's investment thesis. And I think that's a really lovely thing. That's a very special thing. If you feel you don't fit, I think hold on to that feeling, because it probably means you're onto something big. So with that, I would say thank you so much. And yeah, I'm already excited to see all the competition. And I do love Tahiti, so whoever's building the Tahiti product, I will be your first customer. So thank you.
Vikram, thank you. So, on to new venture. First of all, thank you, judges. Thank you, the teams in the new venture. A reminder for the teams. Ben, our expert clocker here, for the 3 minutes, in case you are on one-time speed, pay attention to him. First up, Gig Finesse, Mir.
Hello everyone, my name is Mir and I'm the founder and CEO of Gig Finesse. And Gig Finesse is an online platform that serves to connect artists and venues in one simple step, eliminating all the hurdles both parties face. So before I tell you a little bit more about the company, and this is only 3 minutes, so I want to focus on introducing myself, why I'm so passionate about this project, and exactly what we do for the musicians. So I'm a current senior here at NYU, and up until about a couple months ago, I was actually on track to apply to medical school. And, you know, a lot of people ask, hey, what does this pre-med kid know anything about the music booking industry? And that's because music is something I'm extremely passionate about. In fact, in high school, I was being heavily recruited to go play jazz drums at different conservatories. But, you know, stereotypes hold true, and my mom didn't think becoming a jazz drummer was a viable career option for me. So it brought me to NYU, and it still didn't stop me from wanting to go on tour, playing as many shows as possible, and playing at as many venues as possible. And that's when I realized that there was a huge disconnect in the industry. Musicians like myself, there's actually around 3 different status quos for us to go about getting a gig. First, we can either cold call, cold email, or hire a promoter that can basically guarantee us a gig. And on average in New York City, they take around 50 to 60% cut of the musician's pay. And usually, oftentimes, they require a contract that you sign, which states that, hey, if I don't bring a certain number of people, I actually owe the promoter money. From the venue's perspective, they hire a booking agent or a talent buyer who on average gets paid around $70,000 to $80,000 to simply sit there and blindly go through emails and thousands of inquiries from musicians, hoping to put on a good show. And they, a lot of the times, describe this process as throwing a dart with a blindfold on. And being a musician myself, I wanted to give power back to the musicians and the venues and make this industry a little bit more transparent. And seeing is believing, and I came to, whoa, that got really loud. Luckily, I had a very, very talented technical co-founder who also happens to be my cousin, who was brave enough to leave his lucrative job at Google as a software engineer to come help me build this platform. And ever since then, we've been just full throttle, and I'm super excited to graduate next week and keep this up. And like I said, seeing is believing, so let's see how we operate in real life.
Gig Finesse connects artists and venues to create unforgettable shows. Here's how it works. Sign up is easy. For artists, just enter your email and create a username for your profile. You can customize your page with what kind of artist you are, how big your group is, what you play, and who you are. Connecting your social media accounts and snippets of your music is recommended so venues can get a preview. Just drag and drop. Once your profile is complete, you're ready to start browsing venues that are also on Gig Finesse looking for artists to book. Find one you like and apply. It's that easy. If you're a venue and looking to book up your nights with musicians, Gig Finesse will work for you too. Simply sign up as a venue, create a profile, and let the world know where you're located. Name your stage and create a listing for a gig coming up. Gig Finesse does the rest and matches you to artists. Next thing you know, every night is gig night. Less time spent finding gigs means more time preparing for them.
Thanks, guys. Really great. You said you guys were cousins? Yes. And you convinced him to leave the Google job, or
That was my toughest job.
That was your toughest job.
So I received 3 missed calls from my mom. And, that's never a good thing when you have 3 missed calls from your parents. And, I hadn't really told my mom about this project for a while. And, she was like, hey, so I got a call from your aunt. And I knew where this was headed, She's like, I heard Ryan's, moving to New York City to do this with you. This project that he speaks of.
So he moved as well.
He moved here, yeah.
And left his job.
And left his job. And
This has got to work.
That's the type of commitment we need, yeah.
We'll get some tough holidays coming up.
Yes.
Yeah. Is this now in action? Have you guys got this in bars and clubs?
It is in action. We've been active for the past 7 months. We've booked over 392 acts in New York City alone.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have a little over 250 live users.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Revelio Labs, Ben and Maxwell, come on down. There you are.
So, hi everyone. We're Revelio Labs, and we provide labor market analytics to help businesses and investors make better decisions. So I'm Ben Zweig. I'm faculty here at NYU at Stern. And before that was a data scientist at IBM. Prior to that, did a PhD in economics.
And I'm Maxwell Gove. I'm our head of product. I'm an alum here from Stern, and I currently work in the market data space.
Yeah, so we know that people are the most important part of every business. In fact, companies spend about 75% of their budget on talent. And I saw how much this mattered to the bottom line firsthand while I was running the workforce optimization team at IBM. Now, the problem was that all the analysis we did internally was specific to that company, was specific to IBM, and every other company was duplicating this analysis, employing dozens of people, spending millions of dollars a year to create workforce analysis and insights. So we thought, what if we could do the same thing using public data? And that way, we could do workforce analysis for all companies at the same time, and also enable cross-company comparisons. So we found a really interesting segment of the market, which is investment management. And the idea is when a hedge fund is analyzing a company, they need to know, do they have the talent they need to deliver on their strategy? So we're working with one fund, for example, who's tracking the market for cloud. So they need to see, which companies are hiring key talent at the fastest rates, at which companies is the key talent leaving the fastest rates. That's a red flag, and they need to know that. So far, things have been going really well. We've been selling into this market. We've had dozens of calls with dozens of hedge funds. And since launching in October, we've already closed 4 deals, each of them paying $45,000 a year. So we're really proud of the success so far. And thanks to a lot of thanks to the help of the NYU entrepreneurial ecosystem, we've been big beneficiaries of a lot of good guidance. And we're really excited for what comes next. So thank you, everybody. Thanks.
Talent is the most significant contributor to a business. Companies spend roughly 75% of their expenses on people. Yet, there is no clear way to track this information, which is critical to surviving in today's competitive landscape. Companies need to know, do we have the right skills to deliver on our strategy? What types of employees are we hiring? What types are leaving? And more. HR departments, recruiters, management teams, consultants, and investors are all looking for detailed information on workforce trends within companies. The problem is that, 1, it's difficult to acquire the correct data. And 2, even for those who do gather the data, it's not structured in a way that allows for reliable comparison across firms. At Revelio Labs, we extract this information using a previously unused resource, online profile data, and we've created a consistent structure to interpret this data reliably across thousands of different companies, both public and private. This information is then aggregated into a user-friendly site where anyone can view the data and generate reports. Let's say you're an HR manager at GM and you're trying to hire scientists for a new self-driving car unit. You want to know, where are people with these skills located? Revelio Labs can find that information. Or let's say you're an analyst at a hedge fund and you're trying to track who's winning a race for cloud computing. Is it Amazon? How is Google doing? Revelio Labs can allow you to compare hiring rates and attrition rates by position so that you can make smarter investments. At Revelio Labs, we believe that a consistent understanding of labor market data can empower businesses and individuals to make better decisions. We aim to become the authoritative source of labor market intelligence, bringing scientific rigor to a previously unsophisticated market.
Thanks, guys. A backward-looking question, if you don't mind. You guys went through the program and did a bunch of the workshops, I'm guessing, right? Any one kind of stood out as really being helpful to you guys?
Yeah, I think the one that was most helpful for us was the pitching boot camp. So I think we were in sorry shape in terms of... We were not doing well before that, and we had a great coach who really helped us. She made herself available not only at the boot camp, but afterwards. And actually, we talked to her this week before the finals as well. And that, I think, made a tremendous difference today.
Got it.
Rima, we'll give her a shout out. She's amazing.
That's great. Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks. Curb Genie, Colin. Colin, there you are.
Good day, everyone. My name is Colin Horsford. My other co-founder is Jonathan Descartes. We're the co-founders of Curb Genie. Let's just get right to the point. Returning your rental car at the airport sucks. Why does it suck? Because when you're returning your rental car at the airport, you're forced to drive to a separate terminal, often miles away, and that whole process can cost you up to 60 minutes. Now, for an able-bodied person, that may not be such a big deal, but imagine if you're traveling with small children or if you're traveling with an elderly or disabled individual. For example, at LaGuardia Airport alone, you're required to get into 2 shuttle buses, and it can cost you up to 60 minutes just to return your rental car, causing you to possibly miss your flight. Now, who wants to do that? So my co-founder and I thought, let's do something about it. So we created Curb Genie, curbside car rental returns at the airport. So with Curb Genie, users are able to return their rental cars at the airport's curbside, thereby skipping the trip to the rental car terminal and allowing them to go directly to the curbside and then go into the check-in. Here's how it works. First, you either use our website or our app. Whenever you're using our app, it's a simple 5-tap process to make sure you get a booking. Once you have your booking, you drive directly up to your curbside of your departure terminal, and you leave your keys with us. From there, you go right into your terminal's check-in while we return your car for you. Many people are worried about things like insurance. We actually have 2 types of insurance to cover us. And we'll be happy to say to date, we've had very large airports and also some of the largest rental car companies on board. We were granted a pilot test starting in June, so our official launch date is this coming June. And aside from that, we're also accepted into the Stern Venture Fellows Accelerator Program, which will also be starting in June. So June will be a big month for us. As to why we think we can get to this, well, we're forecasting up to about $4 million for the 5 airports that we're initially targeting. Myself, I'm the co-founder and also the COO, so I'm in charge of operations. I previously worked at Goldman Sachs in their operations division, and at night I taught myself how to code, and I built a couple apps, one of which was invited out to Y Combinator a couple years ago. My co-founder is Jonathan Descartes. He's a very successful music executive who has broken multi-million-dollar deals with some of the largest Fortune 500 companies, and also broke several artists and #1 Billboard chart hits. So next time you're returning your rental car at the airport, skip the shuttle and book a Genie, a Curb Genie. Thank you.
Do you rent cars when traveling with your family or for business? Isn't returning your rental car at the airport a hassle? You probably spend close to an hour driving to a separate terminal and waiting in line to return your car. Then you lug all of your luggage onto a shuttle over to your airline's terminal, hoping you don't miss your flight. That whole process wastes time and can cost lots more if you miss your flight. Shouldn't there be an easier way to return your car? Now there is. Introducing Curb Genie, curbside rental car returns at the airport. Here's how it works. Simply schedule a drop-off, drive your rental car to the curbside at your airport terminal, and drop your car off with one of our experienced genies. From there, just head directly to your airline's check-in and enjoy your flight while we return your car for you. Worried about damages? Curb Genie has insurance to cover any damages caused by us, so your rental car is covered. Now you can skip the shuttle ride and use the hour you saved to get a little more rest or grab food before your flight. Visit us at curbgenie.com and book a drop-off today.
Colin, thanks. What are the first 5 airports that you guys are planning on rolling out?
Sorry. So we're looking to get into LaGuardia, JFK, Newark, Atlanta, and Orlando airports. So we're covering the New York area, and then we're targeting Atlanta because it's the busiest airport in the world, and also Orlando because it has the most airport car rentals in the country.
Got it. And soon you guys will roll out a feature to allow bring my car back with a full tank of gas. That's next.
That's in the works.
In the works. So a couple of weeks. Got it. Okay.
A little bit longer than that.
Got it. Thanks. Nice job. I got it. Thanks. Carry it away, Rick. There you go. Oh, okay. This one.
My name is Rick Niederman. I'm Chair of Epidemiology and Health Promotion at the Dental School. I'm also a director of the WHO Collaborating Center, and we're carried away, including our grandkids who are our clinical testers. So we bring care to people, care to kids more specifically. And the problem we're solving is caries, cavities. So I'm going to start like some of the other folks by asking a couple questions. How many of you have never had a toothache and never had a cavity? So I see maybe half a dozen. So those of you that have had a toothache or had a cavity, how many of you have been to the dentist and loved it? One person, and my grandson. But I think he's biased. The challenge here is that dentists use 100-year-old technology. We are paid to drill, fill, and bill. And we're drilling, filling, and billing for a preventable infection. We now know that it's a preventable infection, and there's technology to kill the bacteria that cause the decay, arrest the decay, and prevent it from going further. And there's also effectively essentially, I'm going to use an analogy here, a white nail polish that you can paint on teeth and prevent cavities from occurring and fill cavities without any drilling, filling, or billing. Well, we have the billing, but not the shots. So there's no pain, there's no drilling. It takes us about 10 minutes. If you do it twice a year, we can bring care to kids rather than bringing kids to care. So at 10 minutes twice a year, kids stay in school. Parents don't leave school to don't leave work to take their kids from school to the dentist. In terms of impact, current data indicates that kids with decay are 1.5 times more likely to do poorly in school and to miss a significant number of days in school, whether it's for toothaches or leaving school to get care. In terms of what we've been doing, we have been in 6 states in the U.S. and 4 countries building programs and testing programs. Our data indicates that we can reduce cavities by approximately 80%. In New York City, it cost us approximately $50 per patient to deliver this care in a school twice a year, and the insurance companies pay us approximately $150 per patient per visit. So it's profitable, it saves people, kids, from a lot of pain and suffering. It saves parents a lot of pain and suffering. It improves outcomes of education. We're carried away. Thank you very much.
Who has never had a cavity or a toothache? Who loves going to the dentist? Forget outdated 100-year-old drilling and filling. What if your child could be treated in 10 minutes and eliminate 80% of cavities? Care was provided in schools twice per year. Since 2003, Carried Away has been doing exactly this in 6 states through federal grants. Children don't leave school to go to the dentist, and parents don't leave work. No shots, no drilling, no pain. This is our school dental office. We paint on silver diamine fluoride on cavities to kill the bacteria that causes them, and fluoride varnish on teeth to harden them. 10 minutes, twice per year, 80% cavity reduction. No shots, no drilling, no pain. We are excited to be revolutionizing oral health care and to begin commercializing Carried Away in New York State with national and global expansion plans.
Rick, what's next for the team? What's the next step for Carried Away?
So the two steps actually to build the infrastructure to have a company, which is why we did the competition, and two, to begin recruiting schools. We already have grants to be in New York City schools in New Hampshire and New York City, so we want to move it from an academic exercise to a private for-profit enterprise.
That's great. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Ioana and Yanis from Verge.Capital.
Hello, I'm Ioana. I'm co-founder and chief risk officer of Verge Capital. There are 250 million adults in the US and numerous credit bureaus. There are 510 million adults in European Union, and it's shocking that there is no common credit scoring provider, which leaves approximately 58 million EU citizens with no access to credit. We are going to solve this with Verge Capital. I'm from Greece. I possess 17 years of experience in the field of credit risk, and I'm here to tell you a story. The US retail credit market is serviced by 5 credit bureaus, while in Europe there is none. Nevertheless, there is a market opportunity of more than $2 billion based on the annual spending figures of EU banks on retail credit assessment. Why is this the case? This is the case because domestic credit bureaus are domestic and stay domestic, financial institutions do not exchange information between them, and traditional credit score models are primarily based on negative credit events. What we have done to solve this, we have created a credit score that you can take with you throughout Europe based on the updated EU regulations, and our credit score is primarily based on analyzing the user's transactional behavior, powered by machine learning techniques. Since our founding in July 2018, we have won Disrupt Greece, an innovation competition powered by Fortune magazine. We were one of the 10 finalists of a global competition for female founders powered by Microsoft's venture fund. We were awarded an EU grant by DataPitch. We are part of a FinTech accelerator program by a major bank, and we were awarded a Seal of Excellence by European Commission for the quality of our R&D. Our CEO and NYU alumnus is a serial tech entrepreneur and possesses a successful exit under his belt. I myself possess more than 17 years of experience either in the banking industry or as a management consultant for financial institutions. And we have 2 advisors who are serial C-level executives of multinational banks. We have the right team, we are product ready, and we are ready to scale. Thumbs up, everybody, for Verge Capital. Thank you all. Thank you.
$510 million adults live within European Union, and it's shocking that they do not have a common credit score. Banks use outdated and static models that have left 58 million Europeans with no access to credit. Verge.Capital is going to be the pan-European credit score provider with the use of machine learning, cloud technologies, and an easy-to-use mobile app. You sign up for Verge.Capital. Answer a short questionnaire. You connect your bank accounts. And your credit score is ready for you to use as you see fit. We are committed in empowering fair access to credit for all of us. You can now monitor your credit worthiness and know the actions you can take in order to improve your credit health. It is time that you take advantage of your financial behavior. Verge.Capital. Your credit score reinvented.
Ioana and Jan, is a reason why Europe is a good fit for what you're doing? And would this work in Asia, Africa, or not?
This works primarily in countries that the regulation is forcing banks to open up their data, so consumers can take their data to the trusted third-party provider that they prefer. Southeast Asia is the next market that geography that we are going to focus, because the regulation there seems to be changing over the upcoming years.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
That completes the new venture. Time to vote. And 2 minutes, please. We're getting closer to the big announcements. Yeah? Voting has ended. It's too late. We're getting even closer. 2 minutes closer to when I said it last time. So that ends this portion of the pitches. Thank you to all of our contestants, not only here tonight, but who went through the whole program, the whole 8-9 months. Everyone who competes in this makes everyone better, and they all kind of rise to the top, the whole rising boat thing. Anyways, I'm going to turn over to Cynthia, and here we go.
All right. Let's hear it for Steve. Thank you. You've been great. Unlike Ricky Gervais, we would have you back if you would have us. Weren't those presentations amazing? Aren't the finalists amazing? All right. So it's time to give out some awards. But before we do, to the teams, but before we do to the teams, there is no way we can do all that we do with just the 3 of us and the 4 of us. It takes a lot of effort on the part of folks that who just feel it's important to support entrepreneurs, who give up their time and talent in order to help this next generation. So Steve is one. We have several in the audience with us tonight, and if you're still here, would you stand if you're one of our volunteers? I know many of you had to leave earlier. Are you still here? Stand, Ed. Oh, hi, Ed. Ed, Gabby, David. Jonathan. Okay, excellent. And really, I mean, they're here all the time. We make a point of acknowledging them at this event, although we're constantly thanking them and feeding them when they come. But it's important that you get to see them and meet them as well, because they're behind the scenes, again, lifting up these entrepreneurs. And you heard Vikram mention how important that was, how important a role the mentors played in Tote and later Pinterest's success. So what we do is we challenge ourselves each year with identifying one volunteer who's just exemplifies what all of them mean to us, which is they're best at what they do, they are incredibly gifted and giving, and they actually, for some strange reason, never say no, which is really, really a good quality to have in volunteers. So we had a couple that we were toying with, and we said, well, why do we have to pick one this year? We're going to pick two. And so the folks that I'm going to ask to come down and ask you to help me thank them are Shanif Donani and Jane Louderback. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. And we sent you away with, these are for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
My pleasure.
And we'll take, thank you. Jane is, she actually makes, she not only is a coach, but she has made us better at coaching our coaches. So I thank her for that. Shanif is very interesting because he actually went through the competition many years ago, and he didn't win, which he would tell you. But see, there's life after. So I'm just saying, he was very successful. He sold his company to Twitter. He's now working on another company, just finished an accelerator program. He's a mentor with our summer program. He's invested in a company that went through this last year's summer program. So they're just these incredible people. So thank you, guys. We really could not do what we do without you. Okay. Now, for this next portion of the program, I'm going to bring up Phoebe Ponzalan. But before I do, we have a little tradition. She cuts her eyes at me. She gets upset because she knows we're going off script because we're going to, thanks, Jen. We're going to present her flowers. Okay, so she stopped fighting it. Phoebe, for those of you who don't know, manages, we tend to say the day-to-day of the competition, but it's day-to-day, night-to-night. It's an incredible task that she has. I like to say that she keeps the trains running on time, she lays the track, she drives the trains. She just basically makes sure that everything operates so smoothly, and she does it with, okay, I'll stop. She does it with such grace. I literally have had to threaten to lock her out of her office because she stays to ungodly hours. I insisted she not come in the other day when she wasn't feeling well, and so all the teams know how meticulous she is about details and keeping you guys on track. But she's really phenomenal. So we all thank you.
You know, the worst part is that they do it right before I have to get up, and so now I'm all like jittery up here. Okay, so we've done the Mentor Awards. And I also want to say thanks and hi to all of our volunteers and coaches who I harass endlessly with my many emails. Can you coach this team? Can you hop on this phone call? Are you sure you can't make it on Friday? So thank you from me as well. So now we're going to dive into the portion. Steve kept saying, we're getting closer, we're getting closer. Okay, so here we are. We're going to start dishing out some great awards to our fantastic teams. The first award that's going to be presented is actually going to be presented by our wonderful Management Communication Department. So I hope that all of you were impressed by the pitches that you heard earlier today, the longer 9-minute pitches, just now the shorter 3-minute pitches. All of the teams worked with 5 coaches from our Management Communication program. And I'm going to read them off just so I don't forget. Jesse Shea, Ronnie Burns, Eileen Gilmartin, Howard Geltzer, and Rima Shakir. So Rima now gets the second shout out of the night tonight. And then we had 3 judges evaluating all of the presentations earlier today. Susan Stellick, Yu Shi, and Jeff Younger. And so I'm now going to turn it over to Susan to present the award.
So I was told I get one sentence. No good idea goes anywhere without a communication strategy, and that is what we teach. So for the Communication Awards, is that okay? That was the second sentence, I'm sorry. All right, so for the best pitch, new venture, and I'm going to call out all the names and come on down right away because we have 1 minute to get off the stage. We're good here. New venture, Gig Finesse. Come on down. Okay, social venture, Dotted Square. Come on down. And for the tech venture, React Power. And in our department, we also give a bottle of champagne to support. And the bottle of champagne is Vive Clicquot, one of the best entrepreneurs that we know, and a woman. Thank you.
Okay, so congrats to all of the best presentation winners. It is now my honor to present the awards for Audience Choice. So these are the teams that all of you voted for, the teams that you thought were great standing up here on stage this evening. So same as Susan, I am going to call out 3 teams, 1 from each venture track. All of you can head on down at the same time. We'll take a very quick photo, and then we'll congratulate all of you. Okay, so for technology venture competition, Mixie. Social venture, Quick Reversal, Gig Finesse for new venture. So Mixie, here you go. I have to stand next to you?
You definitely, I'm sorry. I'll be shorter next time.
Congratulations to all of you. All right, so now we're really there. I know all of you, you're just concerned about that money. That is so sad. Come on. All right, so we are going to present Tech Social New Venture. So to present the Tech Venture Award, I want to call on our friend, the Managing Director of the NYU Innovation Venture Fund. Did I get that right? Executive Director of the Entrepreneurial, I don't know. You have so many titles. Thank you, Frank.
All right, so the Tech Venture track, just for those of you who don't know, is really created to help take research and technologies that have been developed as part of their research or studies here at NYU and to help bring it to market. And we had a really great group of teams this year from a diverse array of schools throughout the universities, from undergrads to PhDs and faculty. And it's tough, as it always is. This year was actually really, really close. And so we are splitting the prize. In second place, a runner-up and the recipient of $40,000, Blue Instrument. Okay. Congratulations, and stay right here, okay? Stay on stage. All right. And the grand prize, the first place winner of the Technology Venture Competition and the winner of $60,000 is Mixie.
All right.
Congratulations.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Hello. There we go. To announce the winners of the Social Venture Competition, my friend and colleague, Danny LaFuente.
So those of you who know me know that I love to talk, but I hate public speaking, so I'm going to keep this short. Similarly, we also had 2 winners in the Social Venture Competition this year. So the second place winner with $25,000 is Quick Reversal. And the winner of the Social Venture Competition with a $50,000 grand prize is Sea Straws. And she needs no further introduction, our ringmaster. Cynthia Franklin.
All right, one more. Okay, well, this year we had very indecisive judges because this track also split the prize. So lots to go around. For the new venture competition, I have a check here for Gig Finesse. Nicely done. Nicely done. We're going to take pictures later. Excellent. And let's see what we have here. Verge Capital. Congratulations. Congratulations. Nice. Everybody come in. Round of applause for all the finalists. Well done. Well done.
Please stay seated. Please stay seated for a moment. I'll get to my Twitter feed. You tell me when to say the final word here. One last round of applause for our winners and our contestants. Thank you, all of you. Thanks, everyone. Please join us in the reception area.
Thank you for coming.